There's stories that I've heard circulated, kind of like urban myths, about parents who are raising emotionally or behaviorally dysregulated children who never yell at their children. And if those people really exist out there, God bless them. But I've never met one, and I'm sad to say not one myself. We all want to be the very best parents we can. We don't want to get to that point of raising our voices and losing our temper and becoming ineffective as parents. But unfortunately, sometimes it happens. For me, it's because I'm tired, exhausted, or because it's the 15th time I've been raged at that day, or because I'm worried about my mother, or who knows what it can be. It can be a variety of things. But sometimes I just don't do what I need to do, which is to manage my own emotional self-regulation. And I know that's true for a lot of other people. When you have chronic raging that you live with, not yours, but your child's, or the extreme behavior disorders that we all try to manage on a daily basis with the kids that we love so much, we just can't always be perfect. However, that isn't an excuse. We still have to do the best we can with ourselves. Parenting from temper parenting to the point that we're yelling is not parenting at all. It isn't just ineffective. It isn't parenting. It's just about yelling and temper at that point. It doesn't help them. They won't learn from anything we're doing in that moment. And we're not imparting, once we're yelling, we're not imparting any kind of information that is worth anybody taking in. When we get to that level of anger within ourselves, the cortisol overload, the adrenaline that's flooding through us, shuts down our prefrontal lobes, and that's where thinking and reasoning take place. So that isn't happening. We're just going strictly from dysregulated emotions. We aren't going to resolve anything. There'll be no problem solving, no negotiation. It's strictly not parenting at that point. So we as the parents who do not, I hope, have the behavior disorder have to be the ones to take charge of ourselves. That isn't the point where we need to be worried about what to do with our teen or our child, because in fact we can't even properly evaluate. If they're so out of control that the police need to be called, we may not be able to make that judgment accurately when we're in emotionally dysregulated enough that we're yelling. So to give you some tips on how not to get there, or what to do as you start to realize you're getting there. One of the things I do that is mostly effective, because I don't yell much anymore, believe me, it's rare now, is I do the Quiet the Monkeys exercise, and that is one of my YouTube videos. I do that 6 or 7 times a day. It keeps the oxygen level in my brain always at a very good high quality, so that it's not so easy for the cortisol, the adrenaline, and the rest of the survival chemicals to take over and put me into an anger state or a fight or a flight state. Also, once I'm starting to get along to that point, as soon as I recognize it, whether I'm in pre-yell or just about yelling or actually yelling, I do resort, of course, to various tapping things. It doesn't usually work for me to just start tapping right in the middle of that, but there's other things you can do to reduce the escalation in yourself. You can massage in between the thumb and the forefinger. That's an acupressure point, and it's a good tapping point. Just massage it or tap it, either one. It'll send the signals to your brain to interfere in the mood state that you're in. You can also go to the karate chop point, massage it or chop it if you want. Tap it. This is a really good place for me. This is a tapping point, but it's also a place, if I massage it when I'm starting to get angry, again, it sends signals to my brain and it starts to de-escalate. I can't go into a full Quiet the Monkeys breathing state when I'm in an interaction, a negative or hostile interaction with my child or teen, but I can do the beginning parts of it. And since I do it so often, the minute I square my shoulders, which is one of the first steps in the protocol, my brain kind of takes over and starts getting me breathing more deeply and more evenly, so it starts to dissipate the hormones that are allowing me to be in that anger. Remember, once we're yelling as a parent, we're indulging our emotional dysregulation. And we don't have any right to do that. We have the responsibility to pull ourselves together. Role modeling doesn't work with a highly agitated, behaviorally disturbed kid, although negative role modeling seems to work really well, but we're not even doing this so much for them as we're doing it for the two of us together. When you're yelling, you're damaging your own heart muscle, you're damaging the neurons in your own brain, and you're doing the same to this child that you love so very much. So take these simple steps, just massaging or tapping, that little part between the thumb and the forefinger on the karate point here, wherever it works for you. You probably have points in your tapping routine that work more effectively for you than they do for others. Take the breathing, get that oxygen flowing, and take responsibility and disengage, pull back, because there's nothing you'll do at that point once you're yelling that is going to be effective or helpful to the situation. So take care, practice your tapping, practice your breathing. You really are entitled to a better day.